competition just gets like better and better from here on out. And I don't think we've played our best volleyball yet this year, so I'm really excited for what we can do, and I think we can make a really big statement starting off here this week. So.
Olivia, can you speak to you and Laney's you both playing libero back and forth, but just the competition between you guys and how that continues to help you both be successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think competition is always good, and we're each other's biggest competitors, but we're also each other's biggest cheerleaders. And I think no matter who's in that position, we're both cheering for each other, and we want what's best for the team. And I think we'll do whatever's best for the team. So.
What did it mean for you the last 3 matches you started libero, what did it mean for you to earn that start and get to put on that jersey from the start of the match?
Yeah, it's definitely an honor. I think growing up in Nebraska and watching them, I've always looked up to the Nebraska liberos, and I hope that I can be a role model for the little girls who look up to me and in whatever position I play. So.
What do you bring to the libero position?
I think I bring kind of just like a calmness, steady calmness, and just calmness, and I want to be that person that they can look to in big situations to make a big play. So.
So how does it
smiling and nodding? Like, what, from your perspective, what do you see from Liv now?
I think Liv does bring a really calming presence, and I think that she's always consistent, and she's the type of player that we can always look to whenever we need a good pass. We're like, hey, let's shift this way. We just need you to get a good pass for us, and we know that she's going to do that. But also defensively, we just know that she's down and ready to cover for us, or she's down ready to dig really any of these hard type of hits. So I think she does bring calmness, but I think that she also brings a confidence to herself, and I think that honestly helps a lot of us, especially when we were down, just being able to like look to her and be like, hey, we need you in this moment, and she'll be able to deliver.
Olivia, how does that communication of this work with the coaching staff? You find out the night before the match, and like their plan for what they're doing at libero, how does that get communicated to you? And
It sometimes just depends. We usually like scout the other teams and go through like rotations, so it can be the day before or when she's like writing it on the board. So it just depends.
Is that like the day of?
Yeah, in the morning, but yeah.
What do you feel like this team still has to prove during Big Ten play? I mean, you guys have obviously won the conference 2 years in a row, number one in the country. What is there to prove over the next couple of years?
I think it's just like proving to ourselves how good we can be. We don't feel like we've been playing super well recently. I know the stats like don't show that, or the games don't show it, but I think just proving to ourselves and to everybody else, especially with like the new coach, and yeah, I think just proving mostly to ourselves that we can win again.
For either of you, Danny on Saturday in the huddle and then talking post-match said that she's challenging the defense to take the next step. What does that process look like this week, and what do you hope it looks like tomorrow?
I just hope that we embrace it, just because I feel like she knows what she's talking about, obviously. And I think that it's good that she's getting on to us, because, I mean, we're going to have to be really good defensively at the end of the season. So I think it's honestly just like, how can we step up and how can we set a really high standard for ourselves, but then also meet that standard. And I think in practice, it's just like always being down ready, making sure that we take advantage of every single defensive drill we have, and just making sure that we're extra prepared for all of our games, especially with like scouting the scouting report and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
What areas do you feel like can be improved? You said twice that you guys are playing the best volleyball, and what areas do you feel, especially this week?
Yeah, I'd say definitely defense. We can always get better at every position, no matter what. So I think it's just like fine-tuning those little things that'll make the biggest difference.
Last one thing, Danny was challenging you to take more risks on offense. How have you seen that kind of come through in the past month, kind of the way you're playing?
I think just going for it and just having the confidence that I can do these certain things, especially when it comes to taking these big reps. And honestly, it helps that Danny's just able to give me a lot of confidence and a lot of freedom just to go for it. But I also think that we've been working on covering at practice a lot, and I think that definitely helps and brings me a lot more confidence that I can just kind of rip at the ball. And I know my teammates are going to be down and ready to cover me. But it's also like, I need to be able to kind of do this after college, so just getting all these tools in my toolbox now, I think will honestly help me now while I'm a Husker, but also after I'm done being a Husker.
Does that carry to the service line too? 'Cause there was a couple matches ago, you had like 28 serves and
Yeah.
had a couple aces there too. How has that part of your game changed?
I didn't get to serve last year, so I just kind of wanted to take advantage of doing whatever I can to help this team. And if it does include serving, I want to make sure that I'm always on my P's and Q's when it comes to serving. And I also think I've kind of changed from being just like a zone 1 server to being now a zone 5 server as well, just like that cross court. And I think it gives me a lot more confidence and also a lot more space to kind of just go for it. And even if I don't make it, Danny's like, you got the next one, or she just also has like a lot of confidence that I can also do it.
For either of you guys, what did this team take away from non-conference, like just what you learned about each other as a team and really any big things that stood out?
I think it kind of proves like we have a lot more that we need to get done, and we have a lot more that we need to work on. And I mean, it's honestly great that we had such a long preseason. We had so many games and so much success, but at the same time, I mean, all that success is in the past now, so we have to keep looking forward and looking to the future. And I think that there's so much we have to keep working on. So I'm just excited to keep getting back in the gym with everybody.
And for a couple more.
Olivia, what have you seen from Allison Jacobs from Michigan?
Yeah, we just started watching film on them yesterday, but we obviously know she's been in the top passing stats and hitting stats, so she's a great player, and we're just going to have to really prep and be ready to defend her and her serve. She has a nasty topspin too.
Yeah,
so.
she does.
Taylor, who's telling Danny about what the Big Ten is like, the 20 games that you have ahead? I know that she's familiar with the league, but she's never coached in it for a conference season.
I think she knows. Yeah.
What has her message been to you guys ahead of
I think honestly, just don't be afraid to just go for it, but then also, like, we have to not be content with where we're at right now, just because we have said many times that we don't think that we're playing our best. So just honestly going in every single practice determined, having a high standard for ourselves, and making sure that we're always doing something to get better, because we want to get better every single day. There's really no days off that we can really take, and there's also no points off. So having a really good practice before we have a big game definitely helps the success of our team during that game.
How hard is it to not be content when you're sitting there 10-0 and you won't then push a couple of these matches? I mean, how hard is it to want to, I guess want to like find the next edge and stuff?
I think it just gives us a lot of fire under all of us, just because we want to be really, really good, and we have really, really big goals at the end of the Big Ten, but then also after the Big Ten. So honestly, I just think it fires everybody up, and I don't think it's necessarily a downside. I just think that we all kind of see it as a positive.
Liv, on a personal note, I mean, last year we talked about your family was impacted by the tornadoes. How are they doing? They on the road to recovery yet still?
Yeah, slowly. They just started working on the inside and stuff, so they are supposed to be out of their rental the end of October, but I don't think our other house will be ready yet. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but yeah, it's slowly getting better. So.
What has that process been like? I mean, I know you've been down here in college too, but do you have your family kind of go through that and deal with everything that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun. It's definitely hard on them, but they get to come to all the games, and I think it's just like super refreshing and I get to go home a lot, so it's nice to just kind of go back and help out as much as I can. I know we've been trying to like redesign our kitchen, which has been fun, so just like family bonding, and yeah.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
4 this week, I believe. Right?
Yeah, that's what I read. I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, questions for Coach?
So do you have to learn about the Big Ten, or is this you drawing back your past knowledge, or you just kind of figured it's just like the ACC but different opponents?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of learning. But yeah, I coached here for 5 years in the Big Ten, so pretty familiar with it, but haven't paid that close of attention to like players, and so it's a little bit of a learning curve. But very similar, I think, to the ACC, and volleyball's just grown so much over the last 10 years where every conference has great teams and medium teams, and so I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a similar vibe.
10 games in the season, where would you evaluate your serving and your passing compared to where you want to be?
Oh, I mean, it's hard to give it like a letter grade. I would say we're pretty solid. You know, serving has been good. There's some things we're doing really well serving. There's some things we can get better at. And passing, you know, I feel like when you lose such a great passer like Lexi, there's going to be a little bit of a drop off. It's just figuring out how we can be successful being ourselves, because you're not going to replace a player like that. So we need our players to trust themselves and be comfortable with who they are. But you know, I feel like overall our passing has been solid, and playing, you know, a freshman, and I know Harper's passing has improved from last year, and Lainey and Liv are getting better each game.
For serving, how do you determine, like, you rotate Terea and Taylor, and then Andy and the serving specialist? How do you decide which route to go with this?
A lot of times it's a feel. It might be, you know, what rotation the other team's in, especially with Taylor and T. And then with Andy and Macy, it's just Andy's got a really tough serve, but sometimes if she has like a rough time through the front row or makes an error, I like to take her out really quick and not have her go back there and feel like she's compounding errors. So that's more of a feel thing.
Olivia said that Big Ten play is going to be about this group proving to themselves how they can be. I guess, how do you view what these next 2 months are going to be about for this group?
I think we have to be on a mission to continue to get better, and to understand that each game is really important for who we want to be in December. So, of course, we want to take it each game at a time, and the goal is to win a Big Ten championship, but that's also not the ultimate goal for this year. And we want to enjoy this journey and continue to point out things we're doing well and things we need to get better at to be our best at the end of the year.
How hard is it, or easy is it for a team this good to not get complacent when they're 10-0 and number 1 in the country, and everyone sees how good they can be?
I think it'll be pretty tough for us to get complacent just because of talent in our gym. Because if somebody gets complacent, they're probably going to lose their spot. So that's pretty much the answer.
Is there anything you like or get excited for once the Big Ten conference arrives?
I just like I feel like there is some familiarity with each team, so like the prepping is a little bit different, even though I haven't been in the conference for a while, but this team has, and obviously the coaches have, so the prepping can be a little more focused. You also kind of know the style of play of each team, which makes it really fun to prep for. So that's probably the most exciting thing for me as a coach. But I'm also looking forward to seeing some of the gyms, and I've never played at USC or UCLA, and there's some places that I have great memories of that we get to go back to that I haven't been in a long time. So I'm excited for some of those road trips.
Where are you excited to go back to that you have good memories from?
I like playing at Purdue. Yeah, I think it's really loud and small, and their student section is one of the best. So I'm excited to go back there. I'm not sure I ever won at Wisconsin as an assistant, so looking forward to going to Wisconsin. Probably those two are my top two.
Do you feel like your team kind of feeds off of the libero? And by that I mean, like, do you think they pass better in general when Liv's at libero, or play scrappier defense when Lainey's at libero? Not really. I don't think it affects the team much who's libero.
So Bergen might be getting a better feel for how Virginia needs set. Like, how does Virginia need to be set to give a chance to be successful?
I think Virginia needs a little, if you're talking, location and height, I think she just needs a little bit higher ball than maybe some other opposites and even opposites in the past. But the main thing for Virginia is feeling that the team and the coaches have confidence in her. So can we set her in big moments and can we set her out a system? And when we do and she's successful, I feel like it really snowballs into a great game for her. So if she gets the feeling that we're avoiding her, I think that's when she gets really tight. And I think it's real for all players. If you feel like you're being avoided, then you get a ball. That one rep is magnified, like I have to kill it. So you don't want her or anybody worried about one singular rep.
Danny, what's your opinion on the Big Ten scheduling? The fact that you open on a Wednesday, they're going to have matches throughout the conference that sometimes are on Fridays, sometimes on Saturdays, sometimes on Sunday. There's not a whole lot of consistency, in part because of the growth in some of the television partners they have.
Well, luckily our non-conference schedule is like that, so I felt like we played all over the place when it came to days. So we're prepared for that, and we played at way different times. But I think it is huge for the game. It just means more TV games, and that networks are looking for ways to put volleyball on TV. So I think it's great. It does make it hard, to prep and to balance rest time, but a small price to pay for more exposure.
How do you assess the risk that Taylor's taking with her attack? She talked a little bit about being more going down the line or trying tips and everything. How do you assess how she's incorporate that into her game?
I think Taylor's been doing a great job of mixing things up and working to use the whole court. And again, finding confidence in more than just one swing. That's what she needs to do, especially at her spot. She's going to get a lot of junk, so she's got to be able to figure out ways, doesn't have to kill it all the time, but to get us easy balls coming back. So if she consistently hits the same shot, it makes it really easy to scout against. So we want to challenge her to continue to develop more range.
What have you seen from Michigan on tape so far?
They run a 6-2. They run super fast. They have one of the best outsides in the conference. So it feels like this is a team that's playing very confident. And they get everybody involved offensively. It's not, even though they have Jacobs, they really do a good job of setting everybody. And they've got 2 hitters, I think, in the top 5 in hitting percentage and opposite in the middle in the conference. So that'll be a great challenge for us. And I think their coach does a great job, and they play with a lot of joy, and they just love volleyball. It's a vibe I get even from watching film.
Be looking for just with Laney as conference season begins.
I individually, they just want them to play the best they can. They don't need to be each other, or Laney doesn't have to pass better than Liv. Liv doesn't have to dig better than Laney. They just need to be themselves, and I think they're doing a great job. And no matter what role they're in, they're both rising to the occasion in that role. So it's been pretty neat to see as a coach that 2 elite players can switch roles and still have great mindsets and give to the team and play great.
Time for a few more.
What's the importance to starting off on the right foot with the 2 games this week and taking care of business on your home court?
Yeah, it's definitely important to be great at home. I don't know if these 2 games are way more than the last 2 games of the conference or 2 games in the middle. They all matter towards winning and losing the championship. So I think they're all pretty important. But we want to play great at home, and coming off, a match where we didn't play our best complete volleyball game, I think that's what makes this game important is, after you play poorly, you want to play great the next game.
I had one practice since the match, but the defensive intensity or intentionality you talked about after Saturday, how has the team responded to that?
Yeah, they're great. And part of that, again, as I've already said, the coach's job to prep the team, and we're taking that a little bit more serious, spending more time on our opponents, and thought that went really well.
On that topic of playing at home, if you zoom out a little bit, September, every match has been at home outside of the one at Creighton, so you haven't had to leave the state this month. How have the players benefited from just getting into a routine, staying close, and not having to spend a whole lot of time traveling?
Yeah, I think it's huge when you get rest time and you get to sleep in your own bed, but I also think there's some advantages to going on the road when it's just the team. It feels like we haven't had team meals together in such a long time, and we haven't spent a lot of one-on-one time together, which that's what you organically get on the road. So not doing that for a whole month, kind of felt like we missed a little bit of that.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.